Should be live on YouTube. Now let's go live on the talks. All right. Looks like we're good, Griff. Let's do a little check real quick. I've heard this is people's favorite part of the episode is just watching us do the sound check. Make sure we're coming through. All right. Yep, we're good on the YouTube. Let's check up the talk. Uh-oh. Hold on. My sound's on. Let's see. I'm not really sure how to check it if I'm going live myself. All right, Griff, how we feeling?
Pretty good, but you could probably. I'll sit back as far as I can, but it just looks a little zoomed in, if you know what I'm saying. But that might be because my phone's up and down.
Let me see. All right, well, we're good. We are live. $1 Million Radio live on the Red app as well as the mobile app. All the apps. Griff, how we feeling? Welcome in. No Jacob tonight, but Griffin is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good, happy that, it's nice and warm this week, but,
Yeah.
I know we could all go for a long Christmas.
Yeah.
I won't say no to that ever.
We always get stuck with the we like to have a white Christmas, right? But unfortunately, we get the bitter cold right before Christmas hits, and not that we saw any snow or anything anyways, but now I'm going to West Tennessee tomorrow to celebrate with family and be with them, and it's going to be a sunny and 70 day on Christmas, I think, over in West Tennessee. But Merry Christmas, everybody. If you can't tell, we are festive today. Griff's got a sweater on too. We can't really see that right now. It was looking good earlier. You can tilt your camera down just a little bit if you like, but
there you go.
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is for sure.
He's going crazy. It's funny.
No, it looks good. So welcome in, everybody. $1 Million Radio. We are live here December 22nd. Griff and I really we're here to break down some football, okay? We obviously had the first round of the college football playoffs, and it started Friday night. Started with Alabama and Oklahoma. The Tide win 34-24, and they're gonna move on to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day, Griff. What'd you see in that one from Alabama? They were down 17-0 in the first half, and was it tied? It was tied at halftime, right?
Yeah, it was 17-17 at halftime, but I fully thought it was over. Until that pick six happened, I thought Oklahoma had it in the bag. But they pulled a Tennessee. Same script, literally. Flip the teams.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same thing that we saw, except Tennessee didn't, jump out to a 17-0 lead or nothing. But it was a very good game. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed seeing. I didn't enjoy seeing Alabama go down 17-0, but I did enjoy seeing the fact that Ty was able to bring those boys back, and the defense did their part. And here I am, Tennessee fan, rooting on the Crimson Tide, I guess. But I'd love to see Ty go as far as he can. But yeah, that was just a crazy game. That was really just. You could say back and forth, but it was really just one team and then it was the other, and that was pretty much all she wrote after that. But I think it was like a 24-0 run, maybe even more than that, 28-0, something like that, some crazy type of run that Alabama went on. But it was a good game, man. It was a good game. So And then that set us up for obviously on Saturday we saw we didn't really see a whole lot of good games Saturday, Griff. I'm gonna be honest. I am one that likes, a lot of people when they see a low scoring game, they're like, "Oh, that's boring. There were no touchdowns. There weren't any points scored." But I am a big fan of defensive battles myself. As long as it's not like, as long as it's not two offenses just out there playing bad football and just throwing super crazy interceptions and fumbling snaps and stuff like that. As long as it's a good competitive game where the defense is meeting the running back in the hole and he's having to fight tooth and nail for, a 3-yard gain, man-to-man coverage on the outside, DB's locking the wide receivers down. They can't really do nothing. And the wind definitely played a big factor in that, Texas A&M and Miami game where the Hurricanes won 10-3, an absolute barn burner. What'd you see in that one?
Yeah. See, I mean, it was a defensive masterclass from both teams, but it's just each kicker was having so much bad luck. I mean, like how me and Jacob were talking in the group chat. I know. Yeah, I'm sure you saw it. We both thought Miami scored with too much time left.
Yeah.
And it almost came back and won them. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game, and I didn't get to watch a whole lot of games or of the games that were on Saturday. I was at work, and then I was fully tuned in to that Green Bay game Saturday night. Yeah, we'll get to that here in a little bit, but we then moved on to see Ole Miss defeat Tulane. I mean, not much to really say about that one. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like we've seen that game before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like we've seen that before.
40, 45-10, 41-10, don't. Basically the same.
Basically the same, yeah. So Ole Miss moves on. They will play Georgia, a game that we have already seen this year. So Ole Miss just, going through some rematches pretty much here on their way to potentially the college football national championship. We'll see about that. I know Lane Kiffin is still rooting on the Rebels because he gets $150,000 every game they play for the rest of the season. But we then saw Saturday night, it was Oregon, James Madison. Now, I know you said that you turned the game off, but Oregon did, in fact, let James Madison kind of get back into it, and James Madison covered, Griffin. I don't know if you knew that or not, but the line was 21.5 points, and James Madison was able to cover that spread in that second half. What'd you see from that one? What'd you think?
Oh, see, Oregon's defense gave up 509 yards.
Yeah, it's a lot of yards.
That's just insane. But to me, it just shows Oregon's weaknesses, and it's their defense. Because, against Texas Tech, I'm sure it'll come down to the end, and those plays on defense are going to matter. And we'll see if that comes back to bite them and be their weakness going forward, But it's just, it raises some questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do move on to play Texas Tech. Oregon does. That'll be in the Orange Bowl January 1st. But when you look at the bracket, though, it's Miami, Ohio State. That one I'm very excited about. And then you got the Ole Miss and Georgia. I think that'll be a pretty good game, something that, a game we have already seen again, but that was in between the hedges, and Georgia ended up having it was kind of a back and forth game, but Georgia ended up coming back and winning. That was a really good game back in the regular season. Then we got Alabama and Indiana. That's one that I'm obviously going to have my eyes on, as I will for all these games, but that's one that's very interesting to me because Indiana, I mean, if you would have said this, even 2 years ago, Indiana would be favored over Alabama in the college football playoffs by a touchdown. People would have not believed you at all. But the other game, Oregon and Texas Tech, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the lines real quick because I did not write those down. But I did see where Alabama was a touchdown underdog, and then let's see. So Alabama is a 6.5-point underdog. Georgia also minus 6.5 over Ole Miss. Oregon, a pick'em game. They are the slight favorite over Texas Tech. And then the biggest spread of the weekend is a game that I'm really excited for. Ohio State minus 9.5 against Miami in the Cotton Bowl. So let's start with that one. That one is the first one. This will be New Year's Eve, 7:30 kickoff Eastern time. We've got Miami, Ohio State. Griff, how do you feel about that one? What do you think is going to happen?
See, I'm worried about Miami's offense. I hate to say it because they had so many chances to put Texas A&M away, man, and they just didn't do it time after time.
Yeah.
Whether it was failing third downs and then missing field goals, it's just every chance they had to score, they ended up just throwing it away.
Yeah.
Because, they're lucky and just couldn't put it together on offense, or they would have lost that game probably.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. But at the same time, Miami's defense was able to shut down Texas A&M, a team that scored 30 points or so pretty much every game throughout the season. But yeah, shout out to Kevin on the TikTok for the like. I appreciate that. We are live on both the Red app as well as TikTok. I heard you guys say the Red app instead of what it's called because the TikTok algorithm will bury your live.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
come on.
As far as this game, do you think Miami's able to cover and keep it within 10 points, maybe even win, or do you think this one's going to be all Ohio State?
See, I want it to be close, but I feel like it's just going to be – it'll be a good first two quarters, and then Ohio State will probably just pull away.
Yeah.
If, history of the last 20 years serves right. But anything can happen. So
yeah, anything can happen, and also this is where we're going to see we're going to just see if that trend that started last year carries over into this year in the second year of the 12-team playoff. And that's the trend of every single team last year that had the first round bye ended up losing in their first game in this quarterfinal round. Now, and we said this last week too, where basically the way it's changed over the last year. Now it's not the first four teams aren't all conference champions and they get the bye, because we saw Arizona State and Boise State both get a bye last week. So those are two of the teams, and then Georgia was another one. Oregon was the number 1 overall seed, and we saw Ohio State absolutely rout Oregon after doing what they did to Tennessee as well, and didn't struggle against Texas, didn't really struggle in the national championship game. But will this week off and will it bite them in the butt, do you think, is what I'm trying to say?
I feel like for some of the teams it might, Texas Tech especially, even though personally I'm hoping that they do well, taking a week off, neutral site, you're gonna need some momentum early to, take that game to Oregon, of course. But I feel like Indiana's gonna have enough steam to be able to beat Alabama. It's just their defense to me looks legit. And then, especially with Ohio State's defense, I feel like Carson Beck's going to struggle. So,
Yeah.
we'll just have to see what happens because that caught everybody by surprise last year. But I just think that Ohio State team was on a mission last season.
Woo! Just had to sneeze. Yeah. So I pretty much I agree with you. I think
Yeah,
Alabama. It's going to be tough for them to in that matchup with Indiana. Um, as far as Miami and Ohio State could come out and do the same thing that they
I
did in the
just
playoffs last year, but also Miami deserves. I feel like
yeah,
Miami deserves to be here, and you know, I think they'll be able to keep it close. I did take Miami plus 3.5, and they were able to win outright. I'm pretty high on this team. I was all season, and then we saw them lose a couple in a row that really set them behind a little bit. But I don't think that's the team in those two losses. That's the same team that we've seen the rest of the season up to this point. And if they're able to put
yeah.
on another good performance, they're going to be able to at least give Ohio State a run for their money. Um, and then what's the next game? Let me check. I have it written down right here actually. So another, and you just made the point with the defenses, right? It's going to be tough for Alabama
Yeah.
against Indiana. It's going to be tough for um, Miami against Ohio State. But a defense that you've been high on pretty much all season, especially over the last 5 or 6 weeks, Texas Tech, another first round bye going up against the Oregon team that
Yeah.
basically just had a tune-up game against James Madison. I know James Madison brought it close there at the end. Oregon was head and shoulders above James Madison. It showed the whole first 2 or 3 quarters. And then, you start letting your backups play, and James Madison is their Super Bowl, so that they score some points there. But as far as
Yeah.
this Texas Tech team, how do you see this matchup going? Is their defense just going to be overpowering, overbearing on Oregon, or does Oregon deserve to be in this game? And I mean, they're the pick 'em favorite, you know?
We'll see. I definitely feel like Oregon deserves to be there, but having a week off, I feel like the first half they might get some. The scoreboard might say 21-21 or 28-28 at the end of the first half. Big
Yeah.
12 offenses and what used to be Pac-10 offenses, they like to go crazy and score, but I feel like they'll get the job done. Because, out of all the offenses they would be facing, I feel like Oregon's probably got the most explosive comparative to, say, Indiana, who, will score 30, but they won't score 50, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel you. That Alabama Indiana game, maybe it's just the SEC bias in me. Maybe that's the one that I watch the most, so I know more about this team than the other one.
Yeah.
But you can't even ask the question
Well,
at
see,
this
I'm just
point.
trying to, yeah,
Go ahead. What do you say?
I'm trying to ignore the SEC bias in my brain.
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
trying to
and that's smart.
be open and see what happens.
That
Yeah.
that's smart. But what I was getting at is this Indiana team. I mean, Kurt Signetti is basically running the video game dynasty mode. I mean, he went to James Madison, turned
Yeah.
that program around. They became winners, and you see them in the college football playoff because of what Kirk Signetti did. He goes to Indiana in his first year last year. They go, what was it, 11-0, and then lose to Ohio State, and then lose in the college football playoffs. And he said, we'll be back, and they are. This time they're undefeated. They beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, and now they're the number one overall seed, only undefeated team in the bracket. I just don't know. I mean, it's Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Alabama
Yeah.
versus Indiana, and I have a hard time in my mind seeing that Indiana is just head and shoulders above Alabama, like the books say they are, with a 6.5 point spread.
Well, see, the thing that defines it for me is this isn't Nick Saban Alabama anymore.
It's
Like I
true.
hate to be that guy, but
Oh, it's true.
it's the war. It's a different philosophy. It's a different, attitude and mentality. He might draw inspo from Nick every, now and again when he's giving a speech for them boys, but it's just it ain't the same man. And I feel like Alabama in that sense of the thing isn't the same as it was. But it's still crazy. What'd you say? They're a 6.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're giving them a touchdown, but we'll just we'll have to see because it took a lot for Alabama to come back against Oklahoma. But I mean, hey, put on the pedal after they started doing it.
Yeah. Um, the other game that we're looking at right here, Ole Miss and Georgia. This will wrap up the quarterfinal round on New Year's Day. Ole Miss number 6, Georgia number 3. This is something that me and Jacob mentioned last week, as this is a type of game where Lane Kiffin not being there is going to affect Ole Miss. And with the line being what it is, which is, what was it, 3.5 or so? Um, let's see. No, it's 6.5. I'm sorry. Yeah, 6.5 for Georgia in this one. I think that's about right because, I mean, you saw what happened in the regular season. Like I said, back and forth game. One of those games where it looked like Ole Miss had plenty of opportunities to win, and Georgia just did Georgia things, and were able to not only come back but to put them away at the end and win. Um, yeah, I don't think Georgia is necessarily like head and shoulders better above Ole Miss, but at the same, as far as like players and talent and all that goes, because this is still Lane Kiffin's team that he has built, but with him not being there, is Coach Golden going to be able to really? I mean, he's going to do it. What Ole Miss, he knows the routine. He knows what game day feels like, what big games feel like. He's gonna know what to tell his players in the locker room. They're not gonna be coming out on the field just like a deer in headlights or anything like that. But at the same time,
Yeah.
he's going up against Kirby Smart in the playoffs. I mean, Kirby Smart's gonna know what he's got to do to be able to beat this team because he's already done it. And also, he's going up against a coach that is coaching his second game in his career as a head coach, and it's
Yeah.
it's in the college football playoffs. So I think that line being 6.5 is pretty accurate, if you ask me.
Which I mean, some of the announcers, which forgive me, it was the TNT broadcast, and whoever it was, the broadcasters for that game, just that's flown out of my mind. But they made a point about Golding not pulling this player late in that game. I mean, shoot, it was 34-3 at the end of the third quarter. Like, I mean, just
Yeah,
hit your starters and carry on. But
yeah, but I mean,
that's the only
I see the
main
yeah,
takeaway I had
I
from the
see
Ole
the I
Miss
see the
Tulane
point
game
in
because it
that.
was just, I mean,
I see the point in that, but at the same time, like I just said, it's his first game ever as a head coach. He's gonna want to
yeah,
feel what 4 quarters feel like. Not that he doesn't know what a 4 quarter game feels like, but just being in that position, making sure that, because I mean, at that point, you're getting practice reps, you're getting mental reps, you're getting game reps, all in the same game against a team that is basically you know, you're better than. You're going to be able to run what you want to run. You'll be able to work on the fundamentals in those plays. So I don't necessarily blame him for that. Luckily, I mean, I didn't see any major injuries come of that, so that would be the only reason you would want to sit your players. But as far as just getting tuned up for this game with Georgia, because they knew this isn't like what is it, the NFL, where the higher seed's always going to play the lower seed. So going into a game, you don't really know who you're going to be playing next week. They know that they're playing against Georgia. They know what's next, and they need to be prepared and ready to go against Georgia. That's just kind of how I feel. Somebody says Ohio State ran through everybody last playoff. Rudest fans I've ever dealt with. The name is Vol in the chat. So shout out Vol for the comment and the like. I saw that earlier.
I can attest.
Yeah. No, I did not go to Columbus last year. I'm glad I didn't. One, because I heard that it was a tough trip, and obviously we saw what happened. But two, it was really, really cold. It was cold that day, and I'm kind of glad that I was at home in the nice heat of my home. So once again, shout out to everybody watching. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas. I've got this nice little banner for you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. All that fun stuff.
Happy holidays.
No Jacob tonight. We were able to get Griffin here. We were working on some technical difficulties. Got started a little bit later than planned, but yeah. I mean, we're here, baby. Let's get it. So, as far as round one goes, before we completely move on, what do you think the biggest storyline was from round one that we saw this weekend, Griff?
Honestly, it was Miami and Alabama shutting Notre Dame up.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. I saw some tweets, Griff. When Alabama was down 17-0, I saw some chatter online from Notre Dame fans and people that maybe not Notre Dame fans, but they were, pulling for Notre Dame to make it to the playoffs or felt like they should be there. This isn't me saying Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be there. I think Notre Dame deserves to be there, but with the way that the college football playoffs are currently set up, with the rules that the committee have to go by, the rules that they made, but they still got to stick by and go with them. I understand the different groupings and how they rank it, but whenever Miami moved back up and were close with Notre Dame, 9-10 or 10-11 or whatever it was, Miami had the head-to-head, so they put them in over Notre Dame. I get it. I think Notre Dame's one of the 12 best teams, but unfortunately, we've got two group of five schools in the damn playoffs. So that's how I feel about it. But hopefully we get this changed. Either go to 16 teams and you can let one, maybe two group of five teams in. But there's always going to be the teams, no matter how many schools get into the playoffs, there's always going to be the teams that feel slighted at the end of the day that don't make it. But we can change. We can keep it 12. We can just change some of these rules and either do like a play-in round or certain things that take these group of five schools out, please. That's how I feel. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel like I pitched the group of five could be the play-in game.
Yeah.
Like have the group of five be, the 14th and the 13th seed. And then, give, this year, hypothetically, it would have been, Notre Dame and BYU, I guess, would be the other one. Other people were saying were slided. But,
or Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Or Texas. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah,
But
I feel that. I think like if you look at last year, I think Boise State deserved to be there. Maybe not as a top four getting a first round bye, but I think they deserve to be there. We didn't really have a Boise State or a Ashton Genty this year. There wasn't a smaller
yeah,
group of five school. Maybe you can count Tulane, but I don't even think that Tulane definitely did not have the impact on the college football world that Boise State did last year. And 90% of that was or more was due to Ashton Genty being who he is. But we just didn't have that this year. And I think in at least in years like this, where there's not a proven group of five team that deserves to be in some of these games or this playoff, in years like this, send them to the back seat. Like put them away. Don't waste our time. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to be like that because
yeah,
I'm a big fan of getting on a video game, building up a small school, put them in the playoffs and playing for national championships and stuff. But that's all fantasy. That's not. I mean, imagine if
yeah,
James Madison had to play because of how it worked out differently. Imagine they played Ohio State or Indiana or Alabama. It's not even going to be close. There's no point in even playing it. There's not going to be if they're playing these teams, there's not going to be a case where, you know, it's a game that comes down to the last drive, a game-winning field goal, something that we saw with like Appalachian State and Michigan back in what was it, 2007. Um, I don't see any of that ever happening. So I guess I'll get off my soapbox, um, but yeah, I think as far as headlines go, Alabama and Miami proved that they're here. I think they deserve to be here, and we'll see what happens now. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to see. Tough
yeah.
matchups though. But we'll break away from college football and get into the NFL Week 16 slate. Griffin, it started Thursday night with a huge game that definitely had a lot of implications, and a lot of people were looking forward to this game. Hopefully, it would be a type of game that, was what it ended up being. Absolute nail biter, great game. Went into overtime. Seahawks over the Rams, 38-37 on Thursday Night Football. Were you able to watch that one? Do you remember that?
Bits and pieces, but I was at the studio that night, so I mean,
Oh,
I
that's
was,
right.
catching in between
Yeah.
bits and
Well,
pieces of having time.
it looked like it was going to be all Rams, and it was, I think, 28-14 or something like that. Um,
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. It was 28-14 with like 8 minutes to go in the whole game. Rashid Shaheed takes a punt back. The Seahawks are able to score on that, get the ball back, and they ended up having to go for two at one point in regulation. And that was the whole backwards pass. Everybody thought, because it was batted down immediately, but everybody just assumed that it was a forward pass, and so nobody really went for the ball. I think it was Zach Charbonnet that picked the ball up in the end zone, just like, oh, here's the ball, ref. And because he picked the ball up, whenever they reviewed it, said that it was a backwards pass, they gave them the 2 points that they needed to tie the game because of that. And then the
yeah,
Rams score immediately, pretty much in overtime. Seahawks score, answer, and then go for two to win the game. Huge game. Seahawks now control their way to the number one seed, as well as obviously the NFC West. Then we move on to Saturday, Griff. Then we move on to Saturday. We'll start with the Eagles against the Commanders.
yeah.
I know you were watching college football a lot on Saturday. Did you see that Eagles game?
Well, see, I did see the brawl.
Yeah, there
That
was a
would
brawl.
probably be the only thing I saw from that.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you this: the
I think it
Eagles.
was 29 something at that point.
Yes, the final score: Eagles 29, Commanders 18. It was an ugly game. I mean, that was a game
Yeah,
that, like I said earlier, I like defensive battles, but that was more of just a ugly offensive game, and then Saquon breaks it for a big touchdown, and the Eagles are able to pull away there late. So they ended up winning, covering the spread as well, 29-18 over Washington. And then Saturday night, Griff. Saturday night, saw the Packers and the Bears. Overtime loss for Green Bay, 22-16. Chicago defeats Green Bay in Soldier Field. They now also have a path to the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they also have a great shot at winning the North. And were you able to have your eyes on that one at all?
A tiny bit, but I still fully don't believe in the Bears, man. Like, I don't know if it just doesn't feel right to say that the Bears are the 1 seed in the NFC North, or if it's just, I don't know. I was never sold on Caleb Williams, but he keeps finding ways to squeak wins out this season, obviously.
Yeah, he's done a great job for the Bears, and him being with Ben Johnson is definitely a match made in heaven for them. We'll see if Chicago ever has a 4,000-yard passer or not. I'll have to check and see if his stats, maybe he can break that in the next couple of games. Let me just check real quick, because I don't want to, talk crap and then be wrong about it. But let's see. He's at 3,400 yards. He got to 3,500 last season, so he should be able to break that. I don't know if you have to do that in the regular season or not, but for that to count. But anyways, I think they got their quarterback. I think they got their head coach. There's no way in hell Green Bay should have lost that game. I mean, Jordan Love gets taken out, concussion. I get it. Malik Willis comes in, absolutely looks great. I think he's going to be a starting quarterback next year, not in Green Bay, but elsewhere. I really, really like Malik Willis. He won us at least 3 or 4 games alone last year. Has always looked good coming in for Jordan Love when he goes out, but he also ended up hurting his shoulder in overtime, or I think it was the last play of regulation actually, and ended up playing that last drive in overtime. But Packers just had too many mistakes. No way they should have lost that game. Ends up happening where we lose a game because we can't recover an onside kick. And I remember going into the 2-minute warning, it looked like Chicago had 2 timeouts. They were trying to run their field goal unit onto the field, and didn't really have enough time to, or they couldn't call a timeout. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but they took so much time to get that field goal unit to bring him on the field, get lined up, kick a field goal, that if they were to kick it before the 2-minute warning, which is what they were trying to do, that would have saved them a timeout where they probably would have just had a normal kickoff. But time ended up winding down so low that the field goal happened at the 2-minute warning, so it didn't count for them to get a timeout. That's why they had to go for the onside kick. And as all Packers fans know, when the game's on the line and we're trying to put a team away and they try to kick an onside kick, it's not good. It's never good for the Green Bay Packers. So that was a heartbreaker. That was a gut-wrenching loss, if you will, but it's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, I guess. So yeah, we'll move on from that. I hope Jordan Love is okay. I'm sure we'll see him sometime soon.
Let me see. Sunday felt pointless for me as a Bengals fan. I mean, I didn't even watch it, and you saw what we did.
Yeah.
It's like the
Griff,
Bengals when the games don't matter.
Griff, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm always gonna watch my team, even
Yeah,
if we suck. But I completely understand why maybe you wouldn't want to watch the
yeah.
Bengals right now. Um, but yeah,
Hopefully,
so
I could even want to if I tried.
oh, very true, very true. But so let's get to
Like I
that one.
said,
It was Bengals 45, Dolphins 21. So how do you feel about? I don't know if I've asked you this yet. As far as Joe Burrow goes, how do you feel about his comments, his press conferences? How do you feel about all that? What he's been saying the last few weeks, looking like he's kind of, I don't want to say it, but maybe a little depressed.
see, it seems that way, but I've been trying to keep it out of my ears as much as I can. But I'll probably just need to watch a couple of YouTube videos about it to, hear everything. But I just feel like maybe it's just a Cincinnati winner getting to him this go around. Because I don't know if you saw the stands for the Ravens game last week, but they were covered in snow, my man.
Yeah,
And whenever your front office doesn't show up and clean the seats for the fans, it gets a little hairy.
yeah,
But
yeah. That
I
was an
think it just
eyebrow raiser.
adds on. I think it just adds on to the Bengals having bad ownership. And I'd like to see a head coaching change, but it's looking like that's not going to happen. So I don't even know what to do at this point, man.
Yeah,
Like, say, even if we gave one of the big contracts away, like T. Higgins or Hendrickson, where's they get us? Two instead of one? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Nah, I get it. I get it. I guess Quinn Ewers didn't look that great for for Miami, but another one on Sunday was the Chargers over the Cowboys, 34-17. That was a public fade. Cowboys -2.5 did not come through for us, but the Vikings ended up covering against the Giants on the road, 16-13. The line was 2.5 for Minnesota in that one, so they did cover that. But for public fades, we took Giants plus 3.5. So the play did hit. One game you told me that you were watching, you had eyes on Panthers over the Buccaneers, 23-20. So let me ask you this: Is it
Yeah, I
over
feel
for
real bad
Baker?
about that. I think it's injuries holding them back, honestly. Because, that hasn't looked the same since Mike Evans got hurt, 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's just one little domino falls and eight more go with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the Buccaneers. I mean, there was one point in the year where week 5, week 6, Baker was a MVP candidate. The Buccaneers they weren't undefeated, but they had one loss and probably like 5, 6 wins, maybe even up to 7. And it seems like after about the midway point of the season, some injuries happened, obviously, but I don't know. Something's up in Tampa Bay. Bills Browns 23 to
Yeah.
20. Josh Allen and the Bills survived. They were 10.5 point favorites. They won by 3 points. Bills gonna always win. Not always. I take that back. I said the wrong thing. The Bills are gonna beat the Browns 9 times out of 10. But whenever they're
Hey,
playing
nine
in
out of 10.
Cleveland,
Yeah.
yeah, whenever they're playing in Cleveland, that Browns defense
Yeah.
definitely is
Yeah.
yeah. But moving on, we also have the Titans get a big win maybe over the Chiefs, 26-9. Obviously, no Patrick Mahomes for Kansas City. This game was in Nashville, and Gardner Minshew also went down with a apparent ACL injury. So I don't know. Something's in the water over in Kansas City, I feel
Yeah,
like.
I hate that.
Yeah. Jaguars over the Broncos, a game that I felt
Well,
was.
please, hey,
Go ahead.
I don't know if you saw this. The Chiefs are moving to Kansas officially now.
Yeah. Yeah, I did
They're
see that.
building a new stadium across the river. So that may be what's up. The Devil's Magic runs out when you leave Missouri, I guess.
Yeah. Jaguars over the Broncos 34-20, a game that I felt was one of the biggest games of the weekend. Definitely probably the biggest game on the Sunday slate. I was really excited for that one. Public fades, we had Jags plus 3.5. They ended up winning outright by 14. And I just feel like the Broncos are, I mean, you got to be a good team to win 11 games in a row, 12 in a row at home, dating back to last year. You got to be a good team to do those things. But with Bo Nix being in his second year, and I kind of feel the same way about the Patriots as well, with Drake May in his second year, I think they're very good. And here in a year or two, they're going to be a great team. But as far as this year goes, I don't see Denver in the AFC Championship game. I don't see them in the Super Bowl. I don't know who's going to beat them because the AFC is wide open. Josh Allen is going to have a chance to make a Super Bowl run with no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, maybe not even Lamar Jackson in this playoff run. Like this is built for Josh Allen to finally get his first ring. And you got a team like the Broncos, you got a team like the Patriots that you'll have to get through. But I think that I don't think either of those two teams are necessarily ready just yet, ready this season to go all the way. I could be wrong, but also, like I said, don't say I didn't warn you about that. Falcons over the Cardinals, 26-19. Nothing really to talk about with that game. Texans avoided a scare over the Raiders, 23-21. They were 14.5-point favorites, and I think I saw Ashton Genty actually catch a 60-something yard touchdown pass. But Texans avoid a big scare against the Raiders. They're still alive in the AFC South as well. Steelers over the Lions. Aaron Rodgers again doing it to Detroit in Motor City. And this game actually set up Chicago with I think they're locked to be in the playoffs now. They have a playoff spot clinched, but we'll have to see as far as, seedings go and stuff. Still don't know that just yet. But what'd you see in that one? I know you said you got to see bits and pieces of it.
See, aside from the final play, because that was just diabolically crazy, unfortunately. With them calling offensive pass interference. And then the fumble or whatever. Or it was a lateral, I guess, yeah. Or did he fumble it? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But A-Rod, he owns Ford Field. I hate to say it.
He does.
For those fans out there, but it's just the truth. You can't stop old discount double checking Ford Field, I guess.
And Aaron Rodgers, who is the known mayor of the Chicago Bears, owner of the Bears actually, ended up helping the Bears in that one. Obviously, Pittsburgh needs that. They need all the wins they can get to stay atop the AFC North. But so he did it for the Steelers, obviously. But he also helped the Bears in that one as well, as well as the Packers, because Green Bay ended up losing on Saturday. But now Green Bay just needs to win one of the next two to be able to have a spot in the playoffs. They'll probably be the 7 seed, maybe a little bit higher if we can win both of these games. But Chicago's probably pretty much slated into that number 2 spot. So if that does happen, if Seattle or Los Angeles gets the 1 seed and then Chicago gets the 2 seed, it'll be Green Bay back in Chicago in the wild card round. Sign me up for that one, buddy. Sign me up. That's going to be crazy. But yeah, so we also saw last night, team I just mentioned, the Patriots over the Ravens, 28-24. There's a point where the Ravens were up 24-14 in that game. And the Patriots ended up scoring a couple touchdowns to take the lead. Also, Zay Flowers' big fumble on the last drive of the game. Derrick Henry looked like, first drive, looked like Baltimore was going to blow him out. Derrick Henry with, I think, a 21-yard touchdown pass or a touchdown run. And then they just kind of didn't really feed Derrick Henry a bunch. They didn't give it to him. I think it was the last couple of drives. They didn't even give Derrick Henry the ball at all. Backup quarterback in the game. Not a great look for Baltimore to end up losing that one.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You have King Henry.
Yeah.
Just run the ball, man. It's like the Seahawks losing the Super Bowl. Run the ball.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one for sure. And then to wrap up Week 16 of NFL football, Griffin, tonight here I think it's kicking off right now, actually, next couple minutes. San Francisco 49ers at the Indianapolis Colts. We see the 49ers minus 4.5-point favorites on the road against old Grandpa Phil. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think's happening in this one?
I think the Colts are going to run for 200 tonight. That'll be my takeaway. I feel like
against a good 49ers defense.
Still ain't going to have to beat you. Yes.
Okay.
We'll see from Moore's out. So.
Yeah.
I feel like they're missing their most integral piece of that defense.
That could be true. Do you think the Colts have a shot at keeping this close or winning?
I feel like it's going to be close. I'm thinking, let's say, give me the Colts 23-20.
Wow. Griffin's calling an upset tonight in the Loud House, Indianapolis. I'll take the 49ers to win. I think the Colts might be able to cover, though. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on that. And Griff, before we head out, there is some transfer portal news for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah. I believe today, unfortunately.
Tennessee running back Peyton Lewis, quarterback Jake Merklinger, both plan to enter the transfer portal. There is another person that entered the transfer portal, Griff, and he is a former Vol. Cincinnati starting safety Christian Harrison plans to enter the portal as well. Harrison, he's going to be highly sought after. He's one of the best defensive backs in the portal this year. He did start his career at Tennessee. He's the son of NFL Hall of Famer Rodney Harrison. So we got a new defensive coordinator. He was a Vol at one point.
Yeah, bring him on.
Why is he not right now? I don't know. But as far as the Peyton Lewis and Jake Merklinger news, how do you feel about that?
See, I figured Merklinger would eventually transfer, but I'm sad to see Peyton Lewis go.
Yeah.
I don't want to definitely hurt.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
In my eyes, he was RB2 last year. But it's more like 2.5, but
yeah. No, I feel you.
Carries, but
yeah, Peyton Lewis definitely has a pretty high ceiling, but we're not going to have Star Thomas next year. Deshaun Bishop is going to be coming back, and he's going to be running back one. I think that was pretty much one this season for sure. But no offense to any of these guys, but since Josh Heupel has been here, we've been able to run the ball with whoever. As long it all obviously depends on the offensive line, and that goes for anybody. Your offensive line has to be good to be able to run the ball. But as far as guys we've seen, I mean, it's Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, Dylan Sampson, Now we saw Desmond Bishop and basically just a three-headed monster in the backfield this year. There were definitely some games where our running game wasn't that great, and those were the games that we pretty much lost in all those games. Josh Heupel's offense is really, really reliant on the running game to open up the pass game, because whenever they start having to load up the box, I mean, it looks like, just handing the ball off up the middle. You do that 2 or 3 times in a row, and it's like, what are we doing? We look so boring. We're not even gaining a whole lot of yards. But guess what? It's getting the defense, sucking them in, bringing them reacting down on, a little play fake, and now look at that. Braylon Staley, wide open downfield. Chris Brazzell, wide open downfield. We didn't see that a whole lot this year, but we saw more of it this year than we did last year. And as far as the running backs go, I don't necessarily think it matters necessarily. Obviously, you want to have a dog back there. Deshaun Bishop is a dog. So we do need to go out and find one, maybe 2 other guys that can compete with Deshaun Bishop, so that they're at least on his level, even if they're not going to be starters. But you find a guy or 2 out in the portal. Hopefully, maybe we've got another one coming up that we already have a lower classman moving up. But I don't really think ultimately it matters who we got at running back, as long as our offensive line is doing good and as long as we find a quarterback that can run the Josh Heupel offense. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, Griff. Well, I think we're about to wrap it up. We got Monday Night Football coming on. So what'd you say?
Oh, I said I agree with you.
Oh, nice. Well, I think that'll do it for us, Griff. I appreciate everybody who has tuned in tonight. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Let me bring up this cool little fancy banner I made one more time. Got the cute little outline, the splitter down the middle, looking nice, candy canes. So, yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope we can all enjoy this time with our families this week. Tell somebody you love them. You'll never know what kind of impact you make on their day. And as far as public fades this week, probably going to be coming out either late Friday night or early on Saturday. I'll be driving back from West Tennessee on Friday, so I'll have to do that then. But, yeah, Griff, I appreciate you joining us tonight. And any last words for you?
I do. Unfortunately, on a grim note, I don't know if you saw this. I believe it was Saturday afternoon. Former NASCAR driver, great humanitarian, Greg Biffle, unfortunately, he and his family did pass away in an airplane crash.
Yeah, but I did see that.
It's an unfortunate thing that happens, but they're in a better place now. So rest in peace to the Biffle family and the 3 other members that were on board that plane. But just hug your loved ones, tell them you love them, cherish every moment.
Wise words.
I just hope everybody has a great, couple. We got 4 days, 3 days till Christmas. Enjoy
Griff,
every moment.
Would you be surprised if I told you that we're 3 days away from Christmas? 2 days after we wake up tomorrow, it'll be 2 days until Christmas, and I have not done hardly any holiday shopping. I haven't.
You're crazy, man.
I haven't done it. I need to,
and
I'm going to. But I just busy man, dude. I don't want to head out to the mall, and
No, I feel that fully.
And now I definitely don't want to head out to the mall because everybody like me is already there. So.
Yeah.
All right, Griff. Let's wrap things up here. I appreciate everybody for watching. We're about to go watch us some Monday Night Football. Got the Colts and the 49ers coming up. 4.5-point favorites for the Niners on the road. So stay tuned. $1 Million Radio. We'll have public fades coming out later this week, and we'll get back together after this Christmas holiday festivities going on this week. And we'll be back with more. So Appreciate everybody for watching. Enjoy this holiday. Merry Christmas from all of us here at $1 Million Radio. And as always,